Hey guys, Mr. Amari again. I'm here with another photo editing tutorial for you. Today I'm going to show you the basics of how to take out a background that's a solid color using the magic wand tool. So if you have something that was shot in front of a green screen, or if you have something that is a big patch of the same color and you want to get rid of it quickly, I'm going to show you how to use the magic wand tool to do that. I'm also going to be showing you how to use the clone stamp tool to clean up the edges of something where you take out the green screen so you don't have a little green outline around them. And then I'm also going to show you how to take, same as we did last time, we're going to be compositing one face onto another. So we're going to be using a couple of different techniques here, building on what we learned last time. All right, so let's get into Pixlr and let's get started. All right, guys, so just like last time, we're going to be going into Pixlr, that's Pixlr.com. This is a photo editor that's completely free to use. You don't have to pay anything. There's no subscription fees. And the best part is you don't even have to download anything. It's all web-based. So you can go ahead and just use this on any device that you have that has a web browser and really should be powerful enough to run Pixlr Photo Editor. Now we're going to be using the advanced Pixlr E for just about every lesson we do because we're going to be using a lot of different tools here. The Pixlr X, of course, is just for basic cropping and resizing, whereas the Pixlr E gives you a bunch more options as far as how to edit your photos. So once we're in Pixlr E, now I already have this set up so you can see the images I'm going to be using. To import images, really all you have to do is hit File and then Open Image, and then you'll be able to browse your computer and look for the image you want to use. So what I did here is I went through my Google image search and I looked for something that had a green screen behind it, something with a solid color, because I want to show you today how to take out something with a solid color background so that you can then composite it with multiple elements. So here I found this actually using Google image search. I found an Iron Man suit that has a green screen background and a blue screen where the face is. So someone already did some of the work for us here. So this would be a good chance to show you how we can take something that's solid color and then remove parts of it so that we can composite other pieces into it. Now, our most important thing we're going to be using today is our layer section. Over on the right side here where it says layers, you'll see that we just have one layer so far, and that's our background layer. Now we'll see that it has a lock, right? So I want to undo that lock. I want to double click that. This way I can edit this, and the changes I make will stay permanent. Now the other thing is I want to go ahead and I want to rename this layer so it's not just called background. That way at a glance I can see which layer I'm working on. So I'm going to name this one Iron Man. And then you can see that it changes the name right here in the layers. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to take out this green screen background, right? Now that's actually pretty easy to do within Pixlr without having to do too much work. Over on the left side in our toolbar here, you'll see that we have a tool that's called the Magic Wand or the Wand Select. It looks like a little wand with little sparkles around it. What you're going to do is you're going to click on that. And now last time we used the lasso to kind of rope out a spot that we wanted to keep. This is going to do the same thing for us. It's going to create a mask. It's going to create a loop around an area. But the way it does it is we click on a color and then it creates that line around everything that's that same color. So it can intelligently see you clicked on this one color, so we're going to put something around the big block of that same color. Now, you'll notice that this works really well with a flat green screen, meaning you have no shadows or anything causing this to mess up. Whereas if I go over here to the shadowed red part on Iron Man's suit, you can see that it doesn't quite go around the same way. It kind of moves around the different shades of red because the light and shadows make the red a different color. So this works great when you have a solid color. So there we go. We selected the green screen on the left side here, and notice how it stops right at the mask and right at the suit. So once we have the area that we know we want to get rid of, we're going to just hit the backspace button, and you should see kind of a transparent checkered background behind it. That is there to let you know that there's literally nothing behind him. If we were to kind of import this over into something else, it would not have a white background. It would have nothing behind him. It would be transparent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the other side, get rid of the other green screen, and do the same thing. So far, so good. Looking pretty nice. What we can do now is I can layer in the background that I want to put behind Iron Man here. Now you'll see that I've already opened up a background image of New York City. So I want to make it look like Iron Man's kind of maybe flying or hovering over the city. So what I'm going to do is when I have this image open, I'm going to select my select tool, the marquee select. It's the top left here. I'm gonna click and drag from one corner to the other. And this is useful. Let's say I didn't want this whole skyline. Let's say I just wanted this part. Let's say I just wanted this part of the skyline. I could just marquee select that and then copy it. But I do want to take the whole thing. So I'm going to go from one corner to the next. Going to go to edit, have copy. You can also do Control C. Go to the Iron Man green screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to hit paste. You can also hit Control V to do this. Keyboard shortcuts make things move a little faster. Now when I do that, you'll notice that it makes a new layer for me on the right side. It makes a new layer using whatever name information it had from the image. So what we're going to do is that gibberish number we're going to change. We're going to change this to skyline. So again, so we know what we're looking at. Now you'll notice that it's covering Iron Man because the order in which it is on the right side here is the order in which they're going to be layered on top of each other. Again, it's like we're taking different pieces of paper and sticking them on top of each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this skyline by clicking and holding and then dragging underneath Iron Man. And now we see Iron Man on top of it. Obviously, the skyline is not covering everything. So what we want to do is we can go to Edit and we can go to what's called Free Transform or Control R. When you click Free Transform, you see the bounding boxes. We did this the last time with Adam's face when we were doing the head replacement. And we're just going to click and drag the corners so that it fills up our entire image. So not bad. When you click off the image, it's going to ask if you want to apply the transformation. You hit yes. And now, I actually don't want Iron Man dead center. I don't like the look of that. I want to move him. So I go to my layer where Iron Man is. I go to my Arrange tool. That's the arrow in the top left. I'm just going to move him over to the side here. I think that looks a little more dynamic, putting him off to the right side there. You know, I'll do a lesson later on why that is. There is a reason for that. But this is looking pretty good. Now, you can see that we have this weird green fringing around the side, right? Now, that's not going to look great. It's going to look super fake, and we don't really want that to happen. Now, you have a couple of different tools you can use. For me, they have the color replace tool, which is this one over here. This can be super useful, except sometimes it does not. See, I can zoom in here. It does not always get the shade right. So what it's doing is it's taking information from the nearest color that's next to it. So it sees the red, but it's making that green into too bright a shade of red. So instead of getting a green outline, I'm getting a red outline. An outline's still an outline though, and that's not great. So what I always like to do is I like to use the clone stamp tool. Now I'm going to do a whole big lesson on the clone stamp tool and some fun you can have with it. But this clone stamp is really great if you need to change and make colors blend in together. So for example, I take my clone stamp and you'll see it starts out as a crosshair. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the area that you want to clone. So you're going to click and now it turns into a little circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and you can see that crosshair pops up. It's showing me what it's cloning or what it's sampling. Now what I can do is when I click and I hold and I move my mouse, I can go ahead and just fill in that green. And what I always like to do is I like to do short bursts where like I hold the button down, move it, let go, hold down button, move it, let go, hold down button, move it, let go. And this way I only have to go back one step or two if I hit the undo button. So now you want to make sure you go around and do the whole thing. I'm of course going to hit the fast forward button and make sure that I do this quickly so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me do this for like 5 hours. So now that we have Iron Man kind of already ready to go and placed in our composite, we're also going to be taking out this blue screen that we have here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take our magic wand tool, we're going to click, we're going to hit the backspace button, and you can see it kind of goes right through. Now, we're not going to... We can always go in later to fix off this blue fringing. We have the same problem we had with the green. If you use the magic wand tool as well, you can kind of get a little closer just by keep clicking the blue areas. You should be able to take some of that off. But again, it's the you know, little fine-tuned details that you have to spend a little bit of time on to do. Again, you can go in with either the clone stamp, or you can go in with the eraser tool to kind of erase these out. We're also going to want to see, if we take a look in the mask eyes, we see that we have some green screen still there. Again, using that magic wand tool to get that green and blue screen out as much as we can. And that's something I can go in later with my eraser tool and fix as I need to. So now the fun part, we're going to go ahead and we're going to composite another face here in between these two layers. So now we have our Iron Man layer, we have our Skyline layer. Now Iron Man has no face. What we're going to do is we're going to take another picture of someone else's face. In this case is an old picture of me. I'm going to go and we're going to use the tool that we've used before. We're going to go over to our lasso tool on the left side, and we're going to go to the polygon lasso, and we're going to do the same exact thing we did for the previous image, where I'm going to start on one spot, click, and then each time you click, you're creating another joint for the part of the lasso to move around. And then you just kind of follow along with the thing you're trying to cut out. I'm going to hit fast forward here. Okay, so once it's all selected, we're going to go ahead and hit the copy. Now we're going to go back to our Iron Man green screen here. And now since we've copied my face from the other picture, we're going to go to edit. We're going to go to paste. Again, you can hit Control V. And again, head is a bit too big here. So we're going to go to edit. We're going to go to free transform or Control R. We're going to go ahead and put it where we think it should go for this Iron Man. Actually, I need to make it a little bigger, funny enough, to kind of fit in with what we're doing here. So now obviously this doesn't look great, but if I go over to my layers, again, what I'm going to do is like I'm taking pieces of paper and sandwiching them together. I'm going to take this top layer, that's my face, I'm going to move it, and of course tell it to apply the transformation. I'm going to move it in between Iron Man and the Skyline. And so again, we don't have a perfect fit here, but it's looking a little better. So what I can do is on this face, I can again go to free transform. If I go to the top right corner and hover over that bounding box, it allows me to rotate the image. So if the image needs to be a little straighter, I can go and do that. So far looking pretty good. The thing is, I don't want the sides of my head poking out of the mask. So what I can do is I can go ahead, apply my transformation, then go to my eraser tool like we used before. And I can zoom in a bit, and I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take off and make my brush size a little bigger. So up top here, you can change your brush size. Before, since I was doing such small, fine work, I have my brush set to 2 pixels. So we're gonna click where it says 2. I'm gonna make it, 86, way too big. We're gonna make it about 20. Actually, I can just change that number to 20. And that'll give me a decent sized eraser brush. And again, what I like to do is I like to kind of click, drag, and let go. Do short bursts when you're erasing. Now the nice thing is, since we're working with layers, I don't have to worry about hitting the Iron Man mask with my eraser. Because honestly, since they're on 2 different layers, what I'm doing on my layer won't affect the other layer. It's one of the nice things about being able to do photo composites within a computer. So pretty good. I got my head in the Iron Man mask. It looks a little squished in there. I can go ahead and I can edit and free transform again. Move it up a little bit. So that's a basic 3-layer photo composite. Now there's a lot of cleaning up I can still do on this picture. I might do a separate video where I just show you kind of cleanup. It's a little less exciting and a little more time consuming, but you have a lot of tools you can use to take out like that little bit of green and blue fringing to make it look a bit more natural. Next time we're going to be working on doing something a little more in depth. I'm going to be showing you how to take something that someone's holding, how to remove that thing and put something else in their hands. It's a lot of fun, and there's a couple of different techniques we'll be able to use there. Hope you guys had fun with this. Hope you found this useful. I look forward to doing another one with you guys again next week.